What's up, slashes and slashettes? My name's Nightfall, and welcome back to another anime video. Fair warning, this is not an analysis video, as I will not go as in-depth with the characters as I would in a character analysis. And also, yes, there will still be an anime character analysis later this week, but this is more so a discussion of who I believe would be a better protagonist than Deku in My Hero Academia. To begin with, it'd be best to start off with why I dislike Deku. Now, I am in no way saying he is the worst protagonist, or that he absolutely sucks, or that I hate him. All I'm saying is I have issues with his character, and feel others would be better suited for the role. With that out of the way, there are two main reasons that I personally dislike Deku as a protagonist. One, his power growth, and two, his reasoning for his goal. So let's go in order. What do I mean his power growth? Well, One for All gives the user access to more powers than just super strength, and Deku can unlock these over time. That's where the issue lies. It's supposed to be over time. Now, him getting control over his power was really well done, and him training and getting used to Black Whip was also well done. So what's the issue? The fact that he can just use the rest of them with zero training. We even see the previous users tell him not to use their powers because of his lack of experience with them. But nope, he can just use them because why the hell not? Sure, he read what the powers can do and how they work, but that doesn't mean he should be able to automatically use them with no prior experience. We see his growth with his strength in Black Whip, but every other quirk he was given access to has no growth. He's just capable of using them, which, look, it's fine. He's overpowered with little training. That's nothing bad. Trust me, I'm not saying it is. My favorite genre of anime is isekai, after all. So why is it an issue? Because that potential growth of his power was the only thing that made him interesting. Which sort of leads into the next reason, his reasoning to become the number one hero, which is he idolizes All Might. It's pretty much it. He wants to become a hero that can make people smile like All Might is, or I guess was at this point, which is a great starting point. But after that, what else is there? He was bullied and told he wouldn't be able to become a hero, so he wants to prove himself? Okay, that's understandable. Except for the fact that he was given the number one hero's quirk, which completely gets rid of that because he's no longer quirkless, so the only one who still says he can't be a hero and the only person that you need to prove it to is Bakugo. Proving yourself is a very relatable and great goal to have, but one, there's characters that do that better, and two, if that was going to be the main conflict, then he shouldn't have been given one of the most powerful quirks in the series. In fact, if the writer was going down that route, he should have just kept Deku quirkless. Every part of Deku's character that made him interesting is either resolved with no explanation, like his power growth, or is made null and void, like his desire to prove himself. Now, I would like to say that seasons 5 and 6 make him a decent protagonist, even if it was short lived because Vigilante Deku only got to shine for, 3 episodes? But it still made him a better protagonist, as it gave a new conflict after instantly resolving his growth and power, which, as I mentioned earlier, was all he had going for him. However, that in itself is an issue because you shouldn't have to wait 5 or 6 seasons for the protagonist to become interesting. So with the Deku rant out of the way, let's get on to who I believe would be more suited to be the protagonist. Now, before this segment starts, I want to say that I will talk about these characters as if the conflicts these characters dealt with would be resolved slower than they were in the show already. This is because instead of being a side character, they'd be the main character and thus would get more time to cover these issues. With that being said, when I hear this topic discussed, there's usually two people that the community points to, that being Bakugo and Todoroki. So, let's discuss them real fast because it won't take too long. First off, Bakugo would probably be the worst of the two, simply because despite his personality, there isn't really any other issue that can be improved or worked on. Now, if he was the MC, perhaps there would be, but from what we've seen, there isn't much room for growth besides his personality becoming more hero-like. As for Todoroki, he has a lot of potential, especially if they allow the storyline of him not using his fire to continue longer. and allow him to realize on his own that it's his own power, and actually focus on him overcoming the trauma he'd attached to the power. While these are two great choices, as the title suggests, I have someone who I think would fit better as the protagonist if his issues were given even more time to be fleshed out. Yes, he is also my favorite character, but even if he wasn't, I'm confident in saying that I'd still pick him. And that, of course, is Kirishima. So let's mirror the issues I had with Deku, starting off with his power growth. So yes, his power is far weaker and doesn't have much room to grow. However, this would make him a unique protagonist due to him being more defensive based and less broken. But also the build up to his unbreakable state would be even more meaningful than it already was if it was given even more time to be more fleshed out. This leads into his reasoning to become a hero. Kirishima was also bullied for his quirk, mirroring how Deku was bullied for his lack of one. And considering that he had a quirk while being bullied, and still has the same one, which is weaker than Deku's, it makes the argument of wanting to prove himself seem more reliable. His reasoning then evolved during his middle school life as he bared witness to a villain threatening his classmates. Instead of running to save them, he was frozen in fear. This made him question everything on if he truly wanted to be a hero, and he was on the verge of giving up before listening to an interview with Crimson Riot, who said that he was constantly afraid. This inspired him to become a hero who could not only get over his own fear, but was also capable of being an unbreakable and immovable wall between villains and the innocent people they wished to harm. He started training his body and mind and started actually working towards his goals of becoming a hero, which is something Deku didn't do until meeting All Might, which makes his desire to be a hero more realistic, as he not only tried to do heroic things throughout his life, but also dedicated himself to training for, at the very least, a year, if not more, whereas Deku barely did anything in regards to achieving his goal and then trained for a couple months. If he was the main character, I feel like his backstory, his power growth, his own self hatred for his quirk and cowardice, and his desire to prove not only to others but also to himself that he can be a hero would be able to shine even better than it has in the show as a side character, and been able to create enough conflict until season 5 and 6 when a new conflict would arise. Essentially, I believe he's what Deku was trying to do, but better and more realistic, making him, in my opinion, a much better pick to be the protagonist of MHA. So, this was a bit of a different video from what I'm used to, but I want to get more anime videos and topics put out and not just limit myself to analyses. And this was something that's been on my mind for a while after watching season 6, and is something that I wanted to discuss, but it was too lengthy to just be a short. Again, I want to clarify that Deku is still a somewhat decent character and protagonist. I'm in no way saying he is the worst, so don't get butthurt over it. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, and that's fine. I just ask that you keep it civil and refrain from accusing me of hating Deku or the show because I don't. I know how bad the My Hero fandom can get, so I just wanted to say that. With that out of the way, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will hopefully see you all soon. Goodbye.